Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, we have actually a lot of very spicy news. Very spicy. So first of all, let's cover the thing, well, vaguely cover the thing first that's coming up tomorrow. It is going to be a guaranteed champion event for Gwendolyn, who is a brand new Skinwalker legendary, arrived in the most recent patch. She's Force Affinity. It's an owl, looks cool. Pretty nice. I haven't played with this champion yet, but I will actually jump onto the test server probably tomorrow and bring you out a showcase of this champion fairly early tomorrow. That is my guide for this for Gwendolyn, so you can figure out if you want to go for this guaranteed Gwendolyn. Broadly speaking, this champion, Accuracy Aura, brings an AoE attack that puts increased accuracy on allies, can steal block debuffs from enemies, and then give block debuffs to your allies if it steals a block debuffs. So I think this is going to be a good Hydra champion, right? But let's say the Hydra Head of Wrath can put up block debuffs. She can actually, in a fairly short cooldown, steal that off of Head of Wrath and give your team block debuffs instead. It's only for one turn. It's actually decently useful. It means that you're not at too much risk of Head of Mischief stealing it and spreading it around and that sort of stuff. Sickle Boomerangs then, an AoE attack with decreased speed, leech, and decreased accuracy on enemies under 2 or more debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown. This is an insanely good move. These are 3 of the best debuffs for Hydra. Extremely useful. Decreased accuracy probably remains the most underrated. I think a lot of people have, I think, copped onto Hex at this point. Hex has sort of made its way finally into the mainstream at this stage. I think decreased accuracy is still very underrated for Hydra. Lets you resist all the poisons, which is massively less damage. You can potentially build champions to resist Head of Mischief quite easily. You can resist the heal reduction from Head of Decay, which is pretty big. Resist all the crowd control that provokes you can't resist the True Fears but you can resist the other stuff. Her A1's a triple hit that can extend debuffs, which is cool. Then this is where she really pops off for me. Bird of Prey, it's an insane passive. 1% crit damage for every 10 points of accuracy. So let's say you're going in Nightmare Hydra 400 accuracy. That's 40% crit damage right there, that's a lot of crit damage. That is quite a lot. And then if you give her increased accuracy, which she's going to have up nearly all of the time, that goes from 40% to 60% crit damage, which is, again, that's a ton. On top of that, an extra turn after she uses any 3 skills. I'm presuming it's probably just the active skills, but it means she's going to rotate through her turns pretty quick. So I feel like she's going to be quite like Razzlevarg. She's not going to hit as hard as him. Her multipliers aren't as high, although maybe this sort of adds up to, I don't know, we'll find out. And he's got lots of speed. She gets extra turn after 3 skills. I'm excited to test her out. I do think that she's similar, so I'm interested. Hopefully she performs well, but I think she's going to be pretty good and probably quite worth going for. In order to get this champion, what you have to do is the New Year Deck of Fate, and we actually have a news post telling us a bit about this, so let's take a look. The New Year Deck of Fate event going to be running from Friday, the 29th of December, to Tuesday, the start of Tuesday, mind you, the 2nd of January. So it's really most of the 29th, 30th, 31st, and then the 1st of January. So about 4 days, roughly. So yeah, there you are. In the New Year Deck of Fate, you'll get Fate cookies to flip the cards, right? It's the one where it's the 40 cards. You got to flip all of them, basically, to get this. This is also worth mentioning, guys. Almost definitely, you're going to have to flip almost every single card to get Gwendolyn. That's what you have to expect, right? It's going to take almost every single card. I think it's a bit unintuitive. We had a lot of people feeling like it was, like the game was rigged and they were hiding stuff from you. It's like, no, it's just there are so many fragments under so many cards that you basically need to flip everything or close to everything to have a reasonable chance of getting them all. Like probably like 30, 40% of people will have to flip every single card. It's just the way it is. So yeah, that's sort of what you would expect. So yeah, there you go. That's what I would expect from it. But to get them, you have to get artifacts and accessories, dungeon divers, basically, and you have to open shards. We talked about the dungeon diver events yesterday. We've got a speed event on for Dragon that will slightly overlap the start of this, I think, for the first day. Then there's going to be, I think, Retaliation from Ice Golem, and then finally Savage from Fire Knight. So there are 3 good sets. You can farm the dungeons. Most of the points, though, are going to come from opening shards. So that's going to be challenging, right? We just had a double legendary event. We've had summoning events on over Christmas as well. Yes, you might have been buying shards because it's Christmas, but you also might be fairly strapped for shards. I'm not sure how many it's going to take. I would be expecting, again, probably around like 15 sacred shards, plus farming a bunch of dungeons, roughly, on average. But it could vary, right? It's gonna, if you don't have any time for dungeons, you get super unlucky. Maybe it's going to take 20 sacred shards. Maybe they make it more expensive. It takes more than that. But I would be guessing it's probably around like 20 sacred shards to flip every card. But you probably don't, you know, there's a chance you might not have to flip the last one or two. So you might get away with slightly less sacreds, and then you're going to get some points from Dungeon Diver. So I'm going to say roughly 15 sacreds or the equivalent in other things. We will have a 2x event for mythicals, legendaries, and epics from Primal Shards. So you'll get some points from Primal Shards. It's probably the best time to pull them. So that's a pretty good event. And there are going to be shard events on. We're going to have some progressive chance events on as well. I'll break those down in a second. Before I break those down, though, something else you might want to consider. You might want to consider the Heroes Path event for Blizzard the Howler is still ongoing. And a big part, I'm blocking it, but a big part of this event is summoning champions. We have some new information that's come out that certainly I wasn't aware of. This is from Biohack or SL. Really recommend you check him out. We've done videos with him before talking about his live arena teams. He's got some really good live arena content, but he's actually managed to solo Sand Devil Stage 25 with Blizzard the Howler, which is massive. The way it works is fairly simple. Blizzard the Howler, he's got really tanky base stats, he's got really strong base stats, and he's got that Revive on Death passive, so he can actually stay alive against the boss. He can pull it off. And then you need 5-star Brimstone in order to do it. And guess what you can get from this event? You can get him up to 5-star in this Hero's Path. I don't have it, but you could get it. Why do you need 5-star Brimstone? It's very simple. The Sand Devil can cleanse debuffs, right? But Brimstone at 5-star becomes a protected debuff. All right, protected. That makes it much easier. If you got him to 6-star, it would be even easier because guaranteed and protected, suddenly you don't need accuracy, which is pretty handy. And it's 100% chance, which is probably handy enough as well. But yeah, you need that protected so the Sand Devil cannot cleanse it, and the Smite debuff basically kills him, and that's how Blizzard can solo it. So this is a very cool strategy. You can check out his video to see exactly how it is done and the gear that you need. But honestly, with his base stats being so good, it actually looks fairly doable. It doesn't look too terrible. And yeah, soloing stage 25 is pretty big. Now, I only have the 4-star. Soul from this. Well, I've gone the way. And like I said in my video yesterday, I know it was a bit late in this event, but hey, it's Christmas, so I was busy. I think the 4-stars is pretty darn good value to go and get if you can. I think it's really good. I honestly think the 5-star would be pretty good to go and get, but I just didn't have enough shards and stuff to go for it, so I decided not to. But like, it's been a great event. The 3-star is certainly very cheap. I definitely recommend the 4-star. I think it's 300 of the gray essence to get that, like, which is a massive time farming. So the 4-star is really nice. It may well be worth, it probably might be worth even buying it. I'm probably just going to buy the 5-star essence for Blizzard and use them to solo Sand Devil. I'm probably going to do it, but I'll probably just wait for it to show up in the market, right? The soul market is probably what I'm going to do, because I just don't have enough for this, and I do want to get Gwendolyn, so I really can't afford to summon any shards. So I'm a little stuck there. I mean, we could splash out some cash, but I don't know. I don't even know if there's good offers in the shop. I don't really care anyway. So we'll see. But that's probably my plan. We also know, so don't feel too bad either if you've missed this. Yeah, don't feel too bad in the sense. I do think there's a chance, right, that Plarium have mentioned that they are considering looking at Sand Devil and making it a bit more accessible. Because I think that they're not too happy that the way that most people are dealing with Sand Devil is just using like Godseeker and Eerie to cheese it, or now I suppose using Blizzard to cheese it. I think they don't like that, but it could take them months to change it, and who knows what sort of changes it will be. So you can absolutely make use of this in the short term. I think that's a pretty valuable thing to do. If we can look from this video, like, he's soloing it in around about 3 minutes or so, which is really good. There are probably other champions that can do it, but yeah, like his passive is so strong for keeping him alive. I think that's a big part of it. Again, check out Biohack's video, but that is something worth noting. Now, back to this weekend. So you may decide, oh, actually, Blazar soloing stage 25 Sand Devil. I'm pulling my shards now. I'm skipping the Gwendolyn thing. But if you're going for the Gwendolyn thing, a few things to note. Number one, of course, we're going to have that big 2x event for Primal Shards, so that will get you some points. I've got 11. We'll pull those tomorrow. There are also going to be progressive chance events on as well, one for every different day, the 4 different days. So on Friday, for 23 hours, one slot, Theodore, Calvalax, or Supreme Kale. And for epics, Anax, Venomage, or Eurogrim. So this is up to you. It's only from Ancients and Voids, which is a bit rough. So possibly they might up the points for Ancient Shards. We had a guaranteed Ancient Champion in Nishak Verminlord, which again, I think was really worthwhile. Better than this event by probably by a good chunk, because Nishak is very, very strong. But yeah, so I don't know. You might not have that many Ancients, and I'd hope they might boost the Ancient points for the summoning. We will see. But certainly in terms of this, like Theodore would definitely be my pick here. I think he's more useful than these other two. Supreme Kale for me has been kind of a flop. Honestly, I got him as a guaranteed champion, hoping he'd be good for the new content. As of yet, he hasn't really shone in the new content at all. Like, he's still sitting there waiting to be geared, really. There was like one stage where I almost used him, and that was it. So Supreme Kale's been a bit of a flop. I wouldn't bother. Calvalax is quite good as well, so that's okay. Over here, Venomage is obviously the big one people might go for. That's pretty massive, because as we know, Venomage is really key to taking down Amius, excuse me. Venomage is amazing, so that's tempting. Eurogrim is okay, so I'd be personally not bothered with the Voids on Friday. For the Ancient Shards, there's some really good stuff, like Theodore and Calvalax are both excellent. I think Theodore is the better of the two overall. And Venomage is insane. Anax is decent as well, but I think unless if you don't have a Venomage, you're definitely going for it. And if you don't have Venomage, this might almost be worth going for as a decent chance to get Venomage. If you've got enough shards, obviously, for Gwendolyn, like, it might be worth just trying to get the Venomage if that is holding you back. You can use a Cold Heart. There's other ways around it, right? This rotation of Cursed City, but Venomage is pretty good. So it's something that's worth considering. Then on Saturday, we have probably, I think, the best legendaries overall. Herndig, excellent champion, very good for Dark Fae. He's been very useful for a decent chunk of the Cursed City as well. Trunda remains the best champion in the game, if you have the right team to support her, of course, for normal, hard, brutal, even Nightmare Hydra. She is the best champion in the game right now. Though to make her work on Nightmare is like Uber Kraken territory, Brutal is Kraken territory, even hard. Like, you can get really good scores on hard, I think, even if you're, just a very end game, or if you are a whale, I think that's more doable, but it's tricky. It's not easy, but nonetheless, she is insanely good. And then Acrisia is obviously insanely good as well. The former Queen of Hydra, really, before Trunda took over. Acrisia is insane, especially for Brutal and Nightmare with the enemy max HP, and she's very easy to work. Like, you just put Acrisia in with her passive, she's insanely tanky. It's very easy to have her max out the damage. Like, Acrisia is going to do insane damage with almost no effort, so she's a very strong plug and forget legendary, really. It is worth noting that perhaps, unless there's more Hydra difficulties, right, Merciless set is so strong from the Cursed City that you will actually see champions like Trunda and Razelvarg and stuff like that start to climb up, and Acrisia sort of fall down because Acrisia's damage is capped. Like, you can hit the cap on her damage pretty easily. So Merciless set, it will benefit her with the extra turns and the cooldown, but the benefit for champions like Razelvarg, etc., are going to be even bigger. So that gap will shrink a little bit. So we shall see, but Acrisia is still obviously insane. So I think there's two very strong options here to go for. Canelia is obviously great for some solo strategies. Grizzle Jarl, I think he's decent for Cursed City. He could be okay for some stages. Runekeeper Dazzler's okay. I'm not particularly excited about any of these epics. Like, fine to get them, but like, I've got them all. I've never really used any of them for much, though they can be very good if you need them, but they're just not like essential epics, really. YST, cover your ears about Canelia, but I think the legendaries on Saturday are kind of insane. So this is a very good day to pull your legendaries on. On Sunday the 31st of December, Again, another progressive chance. We've got Candrafon, Hefrak, and Leorius the Proud. Again, I would say that these are all decent, good champions. This would be sort of my rate. Like Candrafon, he's a great champ to have. He's a good champion. Hefrak, he's probably a little bit better, I'd say, than Candy overall. He's a good champion. And Leorius is definitely the best of these by a little bit. He's a solid champion. Void. The only thing is, like, there are better champions now. Like back in the day, these would have been absolutely top tier. But you know, nowadays you've got so many good nukers in the game. Like they've sort of fallen down a peg. Like, you know, Leorius is great, but Taras is a lot better. You know, but he's still really good. So these are good. For me, I'd probably be leaning more towards the Saturday, though, right? I'd be more leaning towards getting a Chrysia or something than these. But they are good. Thalesia, Royal Guard, and Whisper. Again, you've got three, I think, very, very good epics. I'd say Whisper and Royal Guard are absolutely worth having. They're incredibly good. Thalesia is not essential, but she is really strong. She's a very strong epic, not essential. Royal Guard and Whisper, obviously, you know, for most people are going to be pretty essential. Unless you've got like insane legendaries, like they're better, like Turvold is sort of like Whisper but better. Acrisia is Royal Guard but better, but you might not have those, you know. So yeah, this is a decent day. This is a solid day, not too bad. This is, you know, more your nuker day, and it's good. It's a good one. And then finally on Monday, on New Year's Day, something to note as well, like there's probably going to be a bunch of shard offers on over each of these days. So certainly worth noting, on Monday, January the 1st, you can spend thousands of dollars on the game and be guilt-free if you're doing No Dime December. Yeah, it totally doesn't defeat the purpose of it at all. You can do that. But yeah, legend in here anyway. These champions, Truath, I'm not been super impressed with Truath. They're okay for Hydra, but I'm not a particularly big fan. I think Karagar is quite good. Yeah, and Karagar could be very nice as well for some of the Soul Cross stages, for sure, or even just Cursed City in general. Karagar is like a very strong ally protector with cleansing and lots of healing and stuff like that. But like, you don't see him too much because it hasn't been an important type of champion really to have. But again, with Cursed City, that this could be a spot where he stands out a bit more. Bellatar, I think, again, he's decent, but I'd be going for like the proven value really of a Chrysia, I think, instead, for me personally. But I think Bellatar actually is a pretty decent reviver. Like, I'd be happy enough to get him. I think he's decent. He's not the best, but he's decent. Again, over here, Vogoth is a great champ. My Select Priest Ornn is pretty decent. Maneater is obviously amazing. So if you don't have an unkillable team for Demon Lord Clan Boss, that becomes super valuable to potentially go for, right? You might just be in a position where you're like, I just need a champion, any champion to give me unkillable to really improve my Clan Boss team. Screw it, I'll just pull my shards here and hope for the best. A bit risky, but yeah. So there you go. These are all the events. Again, for me, I would go for, I think Saturday would be the day if I was pulling Void Shards. Even if I'm pulling Ancient Shards, if I'm going for Ancient Shards, I'm going for Trunda. If I'm going for Void Shards, I'm going for Chrysia. So those would be my picks, but it's sort of up to you. Let me know which of these days you think is best. But yeah, for me, it would be the Saturday. What I will be doing, because obviously it doesn't tie into any day, I will pull my Primal Shards tomorrow and we will break down. I guess there's nothing to break down, really, is there? It's pretty straightforward, the New Year deck of Fate. It's like you kind of have to flip everything. But we can take a little look at the New Year deck of Fate and flip some cards, pull my primals. We'll do that tomorrow. I'll try to get a video on Gwendolyn out as well. Yeah, if I might do a video. I don't know. I might do a video, I don't know, on the Blizzard thing. Like, I think it's absolutely sick. It's such a cool thing. Like, let's see, how's he rated for Sand Devil? Like, it's something that no one ever like. Wait. No, he's rated 3.7 in Sand Devils, and he is a 5 out of 5. It's hilarious. It's something that, you know, you just wouldn't think of, because obviously on the test server we are given these champions with no ascension, so it didn't really cross, I think, any of our minds that he could be good there. But it's really it's this active effect, right? The reviving on death when he's killed, plus the base stats to let him survive. Obviously, I don't even know if he can solo Sand Devil without 5-star Brimstone, because the Sand Devil heals. He just might not be able to do enough damage, because he's got no way to kill the Sand Devil. He's got nothing, right? The only way he can do it is with 5-star or more brimstone. It's really become an option only for most people with this hero's path. So that's a spicy one for sure. But yeah, I will probably just buy the 5-star. So I was gonna go for Sifi 5-star. I've been saving up for a good while for Sifi, but I'm probably gonna go for him instead, I think, to get the stage 25 Sandela on farm for now. But yeah, anyway, we might do a video on that eventually when it comes around, just my process of building it. But it's a little bit redundant in the sense that Biohack, he's done it. So yeah, I mean, I think everything you need to know is most likely in his video. So there you are. But yeah, I'll see you guys for the New Year deck of Fate. We'll see how expensive it is shard wise. I did, because I've been saving and I skipped. I've got Nishak, so I said I don't really need another Nishak, right? I'm good. So I actually have a whole ton of ancient shards. So if they make it doable with ancients, I'm pretty darn happy. We'll see what it is. I guess it's a Xena on today. These events are just a farce. These suck. The good news is, again, you can, without in any way compromising No Dime December, you can buy Xena on the 1st of January and still fully partake. Or you could even wait till the 1st of February. You've got the option. You can do it. But yeah, guys, listen, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I also have the summon pool event is going to overlap. I don't know if this is going to work, but I've actually ended up with 75 prism crystals from doing events. So I'm going to have 2 summons of this. So that's nice. I didn't talk about this at all. I mean, there's some good epics in there. Obviously, if you don't have them, Mordecai is great. Shemael is great. Cardinals is decent for some cheese in Arena. You got like Deacon, you've got Phoenix in there. Like, there's some pretty good ones. Talio is great for me in the Cursed City. I wouldn't mind a Sir Nicholas. That'd be fun. He'd be good for some Cursed City stuff. I don't have these 3, but I've got these 5. But you've got some solid champs in there. Yeah, you've got some good, like Marsher's been very good for Fire Knight stages in Cursed City. Very, very good. Yeah, so, you know, we'll see. We'll pull those tomorrow as well. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Have a great day. Oh, Live Arena's open. Goodbye.